If you're just joining in, we have been looking at the End Bad Governance protest in Nigeria on Politics HQ on News Central. Well, at this time, we will be bringing in Felix Morka as the APC National Publicity Secretary to discuss more on this. Thank you for your time, sir. Now, great. Let's talk about the president's speech. Nigerians have started reacting, and many of the opinion that that speech did not touch base with the issues in the protest. In fact, it's been described as tone deaf by some individuals. I'd like your reaction.
Well, thanks for inviting me. The president was very, I think, thorough in his speech that he delivered yesterday in reaction to the ongoing protests around the country. He was, very humble, displayed leadership and displayed service in the way he, used his words to recognize the legitimacy of some of the valid grievances that Nigerians and the protesters have expressed. He recognized that he is president and, accepted responsibility for the leadership under his administration. Now, the president was very careful. He also said and, underscored the fact that so many of the underlying problems and, causation of the hardship that our people are protesting were caused generationally. They were not caused in the last 1 year. He said that. But then he went ahead to detail some of the critical interventions and policies that he has designed and he is implementing to not just tackle the immediate problems of hardship, but that go to the root of resetting our economic foundations that has been, allowed to rot and fester over the years, over decades. He said so, and I agree with him. Look,
okay.
Well, just to conclude on that, so he laid out his, what he has done and some of the plans going forward to tackle the problems. Now, anyone who is suggesting that the president in his speech did not hit the right notes or did not address the immediate crisis, I think, it's just been, quite frankly, just trifling. Because what do you expect? Now, is it about food? Is it about, unemployment? Is it about whatever it is that people are agitating about? What are those items on the so-called grievance lists that are liable to immediate decree that the president was expected to come out in a speech and simply snap his fingers and fix them? Which one is it? Is it food?
So,
what is it?
I'm sorry to interrupt you or your line of thought. One issue that stood out for virtually everyone is the issue of hunger, and which, of course, has been traced to the increase, or one of the reasons, the increase in the pump price of petrol. I mean, since that declaration that the subsidy regime is over, the price of virtually the basics has gone up. And so people are expecting some sort of direct, immediate intervention in that aspect. But what Nigerians saw were sort of, permit me to use the word, rhetorics that they are already used to. The CNG initiative, the student loans. These are long-term issues or long-term solutions for immediate problems. Nigerians are saying, address these pressing issues. And hungry man is an angry man. People are saying they are hungry, but they didn't say any of that in that speech, any direct, immediate intervention to that effect.
Dakpo, look, I'm sorry that, the way you frame your question, the way you characterize the president's response, I think really, almost just, betrays the essence of even your question. Now, you talk about hunger. What do you expect that the president would have done? To say, oh, the fuel subsidy that was removed, we are reinstating it? Is that what you are expecting for him to do? Now, the president in that same speech explained why the fuel subsidy was removed. Because it had become an unsustainable burden on the economy of our country. And by the way, let me just say this, because I think we don't say it enough. The previous administration had, by legislation, already, removed subsidy on fuel. That was already done by law. It was done. In the budget of 2023, the provisioning, I think, terminated, at about June, meaning a month after the president was sworn into office. So that was already done. What the president did was merely announce, what at that time was the state of the law. He didn't invent the removal of subsidy. It had been done, legislated by a properly constituted National Assembly and signed into law by a sitting, democratically elected president. Now, let's move from there. And the president said in his speech that the reason this was done was because Nigeria was expending about 97%, if I'm not mistaken, of